It's still showing the Discord window. Well, there you go. Now it's showing your presentation.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was me. I forgot to show the screen instead.
All right.
So, well, we were at the third slide. Let me just show you a few seconds the second slide when I was speaking about live DOM and LiveScript. So yeah, like I said, it's DOM layouts. However, we focus on LiveScript because that's the thing that is pretty important for our goal to create a game 10 minutes. So what is exactly LiveScript? In fact, as for now, we use to integrate directly your game code into Gen7 and then compile that. However, we see that it isn't very practical. So now Gen7 switched to integrated the scripts with LiveScript. So basically you just have multiple files on your host file system. That can be the PSP, the Wii, or the Switch, the computer, Windows or Linux, or even web browser. Gen 7 used to support a web browser with mscripten. I didn't support it for long, but I will probably resume that. And all of this are stored on the host file system, and they are not into Gen 7. So it's the same player for all games, all application. You just need to add your files with it, and it will work as expected. I will put it full screen. It will be better for the effect. So yeah, you got it now. Gen 7 Full Logic is based on scripts, and that's a pretty large evolution on Gen 7 development because it was never. I never thought about it because most engines don't work like that way, mostly because of performance. While we are not Unity, we are not Unreal, so performance is not very problematic because simply people are likely to not do a masterpiece on browser with 3A graphics assets and that kind of things. Well, so and another reason that we didn't I chose to make LiveScript. It's mostly because actually it's very hard for a beginner to install a toolchain to fix all the kind of issues that you can find because even for a seasoned developer it's hard because sometimes it's just about your setup and not clear documentation, not updated web page, other problems around that. So scripts fix all of that. No more hassle. You don't have anymore all this shit to install. We don't fuck about it at all. You just put the files, you run the player, and you're all right. All your game is working like expected. That's the thing that's pretty important because you can program your game on almost any system if you want. You can even use your phone to write the script. It's not a problem, and then you just run the player on an emulator like PPSSPP that is available on Android, and you can go with it and. That's not problematic at all. And also for support, because when I used to distribute Gen 7 as an executable with other SDK, where there were copyright issues, for example, about your distribution, many people that had problems that are almost unfixable because it was so specific to their system that you need to take their PC and see what's going on. And now we don't have any more this issue. We just put the files again and run the player. And that's done. Everything is working. So now there are another issue. So what's scripting language? Because that's pretty important since we are basing all Gen 7 functionality on scripting. Well, I thought about the three choices. That's my choices. Maybe you wouldn't use them, but I thought about them. So firstly, we got Python. So to be honest, I don't like Python. It's pretty early. If you already did see like no more semicolons, everything based on tabulations. What the fuck that really? That's uh, that's almost counterintuitive for any program, but it's used. The documentation around it, and actually it's more a comfort issue than something else. Perfectly functional, so it can be a solution. We have two basic, yeah, basic because basic have a history. It has been around for more than 20, even 30 years. And it's basic. Yeah, it's been interpreted on the, well, like the name is saying. Well, it should be basic. Actually, it's a brain fuck. It's impossible to program with basic. It's almost assembly. So, well, I forgot about it. And you got the absolutely beautiful JavaScript. So yeah, JavaScript. I think I don't need to say about a lot about it. It's just the way you do classes, for example, prototypes and all that thing. No. So I saved you, and I didn't go and gone with the JavaScript way. So final verdict: we will take Python. We will integrate Python in Gen7, and we use Python in Gen7. And so everyone will be happy with that, I hope. And the good thing about Python, it's a supported language. Now JavaScript is being replaced by TypeScript. And Basic, well, it's not even the phase of not being anymore supported. It's in the phase of being forgotten at all. So, well, final verdict, Python. Now let's play. We will make our game in less than 10 minutes. Well, I am sorry about that, but I will not be able actually to do it live because I was messing with the Gen 7 core because I wanted to integrate a last minute feature for the presentation, and as a result, I broke everything. So that's pretty unfortunate. However, I have a version that I have already compiled and it's working. So I will show you how it's made, and that will be better. I hope to fix pretty quickly the issue so I can upload the player into on the server, and so anyone will be able to play around it. So firstly, how it works, Gen7 automatically search for a start.py file. So it will be the first py file that Gen7 will play. And you get two main methods. You need to implement them. You get start and you get update. Yeah, probably if you already did use the Unity engine, it's pretty familiar because actually it's almost the same concept. Start is calling at the first frame actually of your sense. It's the kind of things to make ons when the scene is created. So here we create just three sprites. We have the X coordinate here, the Y coordinate here. You get the visibility. If it's less than 0, it's not visible. You get the object name, and well, you probably guessed already. It's the texture file. That can be PNG, BMP, GPG, Targa, everything you want, as long as it's a popular format, not exotic like DGS and this kind of shit. So you get also the second method. That's update, and that's actually called at every frame. So, for example, all the interactions with the user have to be made in update, because in start it's to create the assets, to create the things you will need in the scene, so you don't create them at every frame, but that you reuse them in the update methods. So we got simply if button down, so we just detect if the down button is pressed, and if it is pressed, we will update the sprite kit and play. Actually, we will play this game. You will see what it gives. It's so simple. You see that it fits in one slide, and it's not complex or anything like. And you can also press the up button, so you will be it's useless that I explain you that in detail. As soon as I will show you at the PSSPP the result, you will immediately understand how it works. And then if button A, so if you press the actually why button A, because Gen7 is multi-platform and it's more comfortable for me and what I saw see for other people to use the standard A, B, X and Y. So we just go with that and so that's actually linked with the X button. And so when we press the cross button more for PSP, you load the scene game.py. And game.py, well, that's a basic platforming system, a very basic. You will see why. We were on that basically. So first I will show you a little the files. So no, that's not here. So you get the sprites in BMP. Right here you can see that I have directly put the tile in the background because I had a performance issue. Actually, since I broke the rendering system, so I need to go with the SDL backup system. This is pretty old. Since the SDL system is not optimized, so I baked the sprite right here for the demo. But actually, in the going to be released version, it uses OpenGL, so that's perfectly optimized. It's cached, and that's mostly because it was used also by the 3D demo that I will show you later. So we get the boot.pbp file, so that's the thing you boot on your PSP, and you get also and another update. Now it's not anymore start.py, it's home.py. Home.py that then runs game.py, so the same game.py we get here. Right here, that's our game.py, that's our home.py. So we execute that, drag and drop. No, it's not that file. So we got a small menu, so basic menu of our platform. You can choose if you want to play or if you want to kit. That's all implemented in the home.py. So we have created our three sprites. We got the background that is here at 0, 0. You need to always remember that the 0, 0 coordinate is there. And so it goes up that way for Y and that way for X. You get also the start methods that I explained previously. So you create the three sprites. Other update, because as you can see, when I press the down button, it tells us if you want to kit. So right here, it updated the sprite kit with kit underscore pressed.png. That one. So it replaced that one by that one. That's pretty simple. And same thing for the play. So it inverted the state, and so we get the play, the normal version of play, and not the press version. So let's play. So we get our little characters, so we can move around left or right. It's nothing complex. There are no collision systems, just moving the character around. We can also jump. Yeah, it's a very basic players. So it's also to show that we can make basic applications, and if you want, you can make complex things since you have all the Python language for you to use anything you want almost, because actually it's a version, lightweight version of Python. There are some little things that aren't implemented, but it shouldn't be problematic for most of usage we are going to get on Gen 7. So how do we move the character? We can see we press the right button. We kept it pressed, so that's the nuance. As you can see here, we don't have the press keyword. So actually that will be only triggered when we will click the button and we release it. However, for this one, it will be triggered if the button is actually pressed. So if you want a continuous movement, it's better to use the pressed methods, because otherwise you need to always release the button like that to move, and that's not comfortable at all. We have also the button B, which is the circle, I think. That's indeed the jumping, and when we have 1 in the variable jump, so it's superior to 0, and so we move the sprite up again, because we have, as I told you already, we have the coordinate 0, 0 at top. So if you want the player to jump to go at top, so we actually need to lower its coordinate. We increment jump, as you can see. That's also a reason I hate, actually I almost hate Python. I didn't have any choice, but we can do that. In a modern language, it's really not possible. So, well, you can do that, or you can do also that. That's really ugly, but we need to do with that. And when we have incremented the variable jump by 9 times, so it's equal to 9, and then the player falls and we put jump to 0, so no more jumping. The action is disabled. Let's get back to that. So yeah, done in 10 minutes. It's not really true, actually. I don't know, because actually I made it when the conference already started, because as I thought I broke everything, so I had to start a big part of it. But I do think I made it in less than 10 minutes. Yeah, of course. Well, actually, it depends of you. Some people have a lot of how to say, you can almost program automatically, when other people have more. It's more difficult to get an idea of the algorithm to implement. But actually, about the engine, everything that the engine can do to make your life easier, it's made. For example, you don't have any complex management of the buttons or anything like. You just check if button down is 1 or not. Same thing for create sprite. You don't manage anything related to rendering. You just say to the engine, yeah, you will create me a sprite. I don't care of how you will do, but I want a sprite. And I heard the same thing. You want to update the sprite, and so the engine will follow. It will not tell you anything. It will just follow. And that's a good thing. So you can just let your creativity work and make anything you imagine. The limit is just you and of what you want to do. And Gen 7 is actually an engine around for almost more than 4 years, yeah. So it's continuously updated. So I hope to have the time to add a lot more methods and ways to develop even easier than that. And I do think about the first time that Gen 7 was released. it was a fully visual programming system. So you had to just to place blocks, and these blocks were executed in the order you choose, and it was multi-platform and all. However, I couldn't support it because it became pretty complex. But now with the scripting systems, it's likely that I will bring it back and I'd put it live with a LiveScript. So even if you don't want to touch code or anything, we just be able to use blocks like Scratch and all these basic frameworks and engines to develop your game and application. We really need to bring back all the power to the people. It's not only to the developer. Now anyone can be a developer. You just need to use the right tools, and so that's also why we are on scripts, because you don't need to touch any toolchain or anything. You just need to make your Py file and run it aside of the player, and it will go very well. No, what about 3G? Because yeah, if you remember well, I said in the title, create a game in 10 minutes. I didn't put it there. I have put it only in the announcement, I think. Create a 2G slash 3G game. Yeah, that's actually true. You can also create a 3D game. Why? Firstly, because Gen7 is the masterpiece engineer for 3D. Of course, I am being very honest. No, there are a lot of great 3D engines like Stardust that is coming soon, and all this kind of engines. And so Gen7 is also a part of that. We got, I have put there 4 special demos to illustrate that. We get the model importing demo, the photogrammetry model of, you probably know what's that. We got had a dolphin that's swimming, and actually that was animated on Blender. That was exported to a custom file, which was compressed using a ZFP. You can look if you want more details about that in the previous PSPHDC. And we get also that was for the game jam. Actually, all the scene was created in Blender, and it was just exported to Gen7. Gen7 was able to parse almost all the files that Blender generated to reconstitute the scene. So you just need to add interaction on Gen7. Gen7 goal is really to make life easier, to make, to democratize homebrew development. It shouldn't be something reserved for only seasoned developers or anything like that. Homebrews should be accessible from everyone, and even the tools should be accessible. It shouldn't be hard or anything like. It's not because you have Actor or console or something like that you need to be a guru that's watching 24 hours and 24 hours tutorials on how to break into assembly assembly things and that things. So yeah, now I have put a small example of how you will implement it in the coming soon release of LiveScript for 3G for Gen7 3G. It would just be a create asset model. So we just say to Gen7 to register on memory or model file. That's OBG. OBG is a very popular, very democratic format. It's around for more than 10 years. It supports basic materials, basic textures. Also hierarchy. Well, no, basic texture. Actually, it supports any texture. It's just just a format. Sorry about it. Model, of course, and so you can do already almost anything with that. Well, we are not speaking about Unreal Engine, Gen7 engine, but so we don't have advanced shading, for example, on the thing. But you get almost other toolkit to be able to create a nice game. And if you want also, for example, here I remember that the light was light baked. So you can do also this kind of things to have really nice results. You can almost say it's impossible that it's being rendered on a PSP or something like that. Thankfully, with optimization, you can really do great things. For example, we have also the Suicide Barbie that have shown that we can do really awesome things when your program is enough optimized. And the good thing about Gen 7 is also the core is pretty optimized. Like for example, that's why here you create an asset model before creating the model, because you can reuse the assets multiple times in your scene without creating for each one a specific zone in memory. You just batch the rendering, and so that's very efficient on the GPU. So here you just create the model at the coordinate 0, 0, 0. So yeah, we are in 3D now. You don't need F, of course. That's C, that's not Python, but this script is in Python. And if button up, yeah, you move the model on the X axis, and that's nothing hard. And that's really the goal. Again, it's to make life easier, to make Homebrew easier and accessible to everyone. And I think you got it now. You got the idea, and yeah, now it's your turn with the Gen7 engine. So I hope to be able to release all what I used in this presentation actually on the player too, so you can build, you can create your own Py scripts. That's good because you can share them also, and so anyone can test it with their player and on the platform that's supported, and you get the same results, and you get a pretty quick result because with Python you don't have any compilation process or anything. You just need, for example, to change that and to put whatever you want, any other texture you save, and you play on the emulator directly on the hardware. You get the results immediately. No hassle. Again, no hassle with Gen 7. That's the goal. Well, I think you got it. You got it. So thank you very much. Thank you for everyone that organized the PSPHDC, and really, I hope we will be able to continue that as much as we can under years. So thank you again. And yeah,
Thank you for presenting as well.
Thank you. I forgot about the questions. Well, I am sorry, I am a little short on time, so I will let you ask the questions directly on the chat, and I will be able to answer them as soon as I get the time. Feel free to ping me or even to ping me. It's really not a problem. I am glad to be able to answer you and to see your questions. Thank you again.
All right. So it looks as if we've finished all of our presentations for today. Unless Acid Snake. Here we go. You want to present Arc?
All right.
Hello.
Yeah.
All right, we got Arc then.
Of course.